Get ready to frost your tips. This week, we have the story of B4-4's Get Down.
You know the songs.
Just making people feel something.
It's been a pleasure to work on this song with her.
But do you know the history?
It's a struggle making any kind of record.
I don't always have the direction or concept.
This is Encore, an in-depth look at the stories behind the music. Here's iHeartRadio's Ruby Carr.
I'm Ruby Carr, and welcome to a special episode of Encore, where we take a look at one of the iHeartRadio team's favorite Canadian songs from the past. We're calling it CanConCore. Do you get it? Remember the year 2000? We were no longer worried about Y2K and the millennium bug bringing on the collapse of society. We were just sitting in our rooms listening to all of the great boy bands that were topping the charts, because 2000 was the year boy bands reigned supreme. NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Westlife, O-Town, they were everywhere. And while it's fair to say that most boy bands came from either the United States or the United Kingdom, Canada had a very memorable boy band of its own. They were called B4-4, and they had one of the greatest teen pop songs of all time. Now, the video is insane, and I have so many questions, but we'll get to that. B4-4 were a trio based out of Toronto featuring identical twin brothers, Ryan and Dan Kowarski, originally from Cincinnati, Ohio, and their friend Ohad Einbinder, who was born and raised in Jerusalem, Israel. The name fit the standard teen pop template of having both a meaning and a unique spelling. If you think about it, it's pretty clear. How do you spell it? Just 3 characters and a hyphen. What comes before 4? 3. How many members of B4-4? 3. It's simple mathematics, really. Ryan and Dan grew up with music in their home. Their dad was a world-renowned professional musician and opera singer, so they had music in their blood. As a matter of fact, their older brother, too, would become an opera singer. Ohad also grew up with music. His mother was a famous singer in Israel, and all 3 began singing at a young age, but wouldn't meet until their adolescent years when they quickly became friends. Their shared love of music inspired them to try singing together as a vocal group. Listening to Top 40 radio as well as Motown, they learned how to harmonize together, with Ryan singing the soprano, Dan singing the tenor, and Ohad singing the bass. Now, B4-4 really only existed when the 3 members would sing in their parents' basements. They hadn't actually performed or recorded any material, but they knew they had talent, so one day they decided to take the next step. They planned to visit Speaker's Corner, a video booth outside of the Much Music headquarters, near where I'm standing right now to record this podcast, actually. You could pop a loonie into the slot and sing in front of the camera to try and get on TV. Now, we know it worked for the Bare Naked Ladies, if you can recall from our episode on their song 1 Week, but they had decided to try another idea. Here they are telling Much Music.
It was actually last year when we just woke up and we said to ourselves, no more singing in the basement, because we've been singing since we met.
Right.
And we just decided to just go into the car and just be noticed somehow. So we wanted to actually come here, Speaker's Corner.
Right.
And on the way, we just said to ourselves, let's go straight to like a record label. So we just said Sony. I don't know why. It's Sony.
To this day, we don't know what.
So we rolled down the window, asked the taxi driver where Sony was, and he told us where it was. The next thing we know, we're sweet talking the secretary to let us in.
And, for like 20 minutes, we're like sitting there.
And she's like, Sony Music, Sony Music, Sony Music. We couldn't talk to her. So the vice president happened to walk out with the engineer, and they overheard us talk to the secretary. So he's like, sing to us. So we just sang to them, and they gave us, we got a record deal.
And so they brought you in, and then what happened after that? They signed you.
Yeah.
They got a record deal right on the spot.
We sang a few things. They took us into the soundstage there.
Yeah, we sang a cappella there.
Yeah. We were like going crazy at that point. One's like pinching me, and we're like walking.
I was like, pretty funny.
Well, did you imagine all of this that day?
We didn't know what to expect. We really didn't. We just walked in and we just said, let's see what happens.
It goes without saying that what happened to B4-4 is not something that happens to most artists, or any artists really. These impromptu visits to record label buildings where you roll up and ask to see an executive, they rarely pan out. They happen to be the right group in the right place at the right time, though. With a record deal in place, Ryan, Dan, and Ohad began working with songwriters Jason Levine and James McCollum, who were in a pop group of their own. Chances are, if you're listening to a podcast on B4-4, you are familiar with the popular cartoon Canadian pop duo Prozac. Well, before even they were formed, Jason and James were in the Juno-winning Toronto-based R&B group, the Philosopher Kings. But Prozac became their outlet to write catchy, hyperactive dance pop bangers, and they did it under the guise of animated characters named Simon and Milo using fake English accents. Prozac released their first album, Hot Show, in 1998. Thanks to hit singles like Sucks to Be You and Strange Disease, the album went triple platinum in Canada. I loved that album. Prozac were pretty big in 1998, 1999, so it made sense for Sony Music Canada to team these guys up with a fledgling act like B4-4. Jason and James would co-write and co-produce about half the songs on B4-4's first album. But they were fully responsible for the album's first single, Get Down, an effervescent, overexcited slice of boy band pop that shared its name with a Backstreet Boys hit from 4 years earlier. James would later tell CBC, with B4-4, everybody was clear about what it was. This is a boy band, and we're going to write the biggest hits we can for boy bands to get on the radio. And that was a very clear agenda. The guys in Prozac would admit that they were feeling pretty cocky coming off the success of their own album and felt they could take some liberties in the songs they were writing for B4-4. Get Down was a perfect example of this. Once they heard it, Ryan, Dan, and Ohad were super excited about the song that would be their first ever single.
So Prozac wrote that song, as you probably know, and they brought us that song, and we flipped out right away. Like
Party song, you know?
Yeah, we flipped out. It was unbelievable. And we thought it was a great way for an introduction.
Get Down would certainly be an introduction, all right. If you get down on me, I'll get down on you. I will do anything that you want me to. It's a game of give and take to make it through. So if you get down on me, I'll get down on you tonight. And let's not forget, gonna make you come tonight over to my house. No, not some kind of kinky erotic poetry. Those are the lyrics to B4-4's Get Down. So kind of racy, yeah. Well, that's not how the members of the group saw it. In fact, here they are explaining just who they felt the audience was for their music.
We basically wanted to have different flavors on the album, like You Got a Friend, you know, so it's kind of like towards the adults, and then like Go and Get Down towards like little kids, and like slow songs which can relate to everyone. So
sure, I can understand how Get Down could be for the kids. It followed the NSYNC template of fun and bubbly pop music with a big chorus full of bubblegum hooks. Heck, even Justin Hawkins, frontman for glam rockers The Darkness, agreed that it was a song for children when he dissected Get Down for his podcast, Justin Hawkins Rides Again.
It's basically a melodic refrain that references things that you used to sing in the playground. So this is definitely aimed at younger audience. I need to play this to a child just to see how they react to it. I've got a feeling it would go over pretty well because it's bouncy, it's up. You know, there is a kid in the video for a kickoff.
Yes, the kid in the video. Look, we'll get to him in a bit, okay? But I can't get past those lyrics because they were very questionable, so much so that Much Music had to ask about it.
Now, I gotta ask you about some of these lyrics here. Little racy, little sexy, such as, I wanna know every inch of your body.
The song, Ohad, you wanna take?
I'll take that one. Basically, the song's about give and take in a relationship. You know, you can't take without giving in a relationship, so...
Get down is an expression, and it can mean a lot of things. I mean, you know, that is an interesting take. And while B4-4 would continue to push the innocence card, everyone knew what the real expression was. Get Down was a song about oral sex. Even James McCollum, who wrote the song, told CBC that he and Jason Levine were being, quote, pretty tongue-in-cheek when we wrote it. They wouldn't admit it at the time, but anyone over a certain age knew exactly what these three bronzed muscle men were singing about. In fact, even sock puppets knew. On an episode of Much Music's Fromage, host Ed the Sock called it a sugar-coated fellatio fest. Gross. And yes, years later, when they were interviewed by Vice, Ryan and Dan finally came clean about Get Down, that it was, in fact, very sexual in nature. Here's what they said. The record company was quite scared back then. They didn't want to release Get Down first, and they also wanted to make sure that in interviews, we didn't say that it was about sex. We said it was about the give and take in a relationship. Looking back at it, the song was about sex. The song is about oral sex, obviously. There was nothing to hide. You know, that's something that we do regret. It's better to just be honest and say what the song is about and be real. We had mothers not so happy because their daughters were singing, "If you get down on me, I'll get down on you." And you know what? Sidebar, I was one of those daughters, horrifying my parents singing that one in the car. They went on to say, the truth is they were probably right to a point. I don't know how good that was to have all those young kids singing lyrics like that. Now, before I go any further, it's important to point out B4-4 definitely had a look. I know every boy band had some kind of style, but these guys were different. Showing off their jacked arms was a priority, but I've got to say it was the twisted, spiky hairdos that made them stand out. Here they are telling Much Music about how to achieve that look, so take notes.
How you guys style your hair? It's amazing. I try so many times, but it doesn't work. I think it's the best style.
It's called KMS paste.
Yeah, KMS paste. And
Actually, your spike is a little.
That's good because it doesn't make it like hard or anything. It's like, you know.
Yeah, it's like really.
Actually, I bought that actually.
Exactly,
I
the right
try.
feel.
Okay, you gotta twist. You gotta just twist and just mess it up.
Okay.
It takes about 3-4 hours.
3 hours?
No,
Okay.
it takes like 5
All right, but you guys are awesome though. You guys are great.
So much.
In case you missed that, they recommended using KMS molding paste, which is still available, in case you're looking to achieve the B4-4 look. Anyway, the first place most of us witnessed this look was in the video for Get Down. Now, how do I summarize this short piece of cinematic wonder? It is weird as hell. Like, I just watched it, and honestly, what did I just watch? I didn't remember the video, but it truly is worth watching when you finish this episode, okay? Where do I start? Let's start at the start, I guess. The video starts with an adolescent boy, like 12 years old, who finds one of those old Viewmaster toys. You remember those? He finds it in the trash in a sketchy alley, like you do. He looks into it, and then he's magically transformed to this beach full of bodybuilders and bikini-clad women. But not before B4-4 starts singing, seemingly to the little boy. I will be the one to love and comfort you from now until the day I die. I will take you places that you only think about when you're asleep at night. Like, pardon me? What? Why are you singing to a child right now? Who made this music video? So anyway, then we're at the beach. The boys from B4-4 are also there. There's some beach football being played and some flirtatious exchanges made between the little boy and the grown women. Naturally. Like I said, this video is so weird. Then it shifts to an urban basketball court where the boy schools these much larger men on how to ball. The kid does an actual tomahawk dunk. Meanwhile, B4-4 do their choreographed dance on the court and in the rain, no less. Or is it snowing? Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. Anyway, and then it just gets even more inappropriate, as if it could. The boy somehow acquires one of those plush kind of cowboy hats that pimps wear in movies and a yellow convertible, which of course attracts all of these women, giving the whole thing this like pimpy, like, I don't know, vibe as B4-4 are singing about getting down on a girl. It's actually horrifying. And then it's all revealed to be a dream. But by dream, I of course mean a nightmare. According to Ryan, Dan, and Ohad, the video was not exactly fun to shoot. Here they are telling Much Music about that experience.
What was it like making the video?
Freezing. Froze. Yeah, my feet were like gonna break in half.
They did the video here, and it was freezing cold. It was the first day we walked on a beach. All the sand was like, they brought in feet heaters for us. So we were like sitting there,
That's how you know you made it, feet heat.
The first day was freezing. Second day was like pouring rain the whole day, and it was nuts.
Wait.
In May of 2000, when Get Down first started airing on stations like Much Music and YTV, it definitely caught the attention of virtually everyone who saw it. This was a bizarre video, even for boy band standards, but the song was a hit in Canada. It reached number 4 on the Canadian singles chart, and Much Music played it constantly. Get Down also helped the band's self-titled debut album debut in the top 40 and sell more than 200,000 copies, which is a lot for a new pop artist in Canada. B4-4, of course, made the customary appearances at malls across Canada. Check this out. This is the sound of their loving fans screaming for Ryan, Dan, and Ohad to take the stage at the Eaton Centre in Toronto. I should add that those screams were just from watching the threesome come down the escalator. It got even louder during the performance. Proper gigs followed, beginning with their first show at the Sky Dome in Toronto, singing in front of 10,000 girl guides. Yes, that is real. But they had some other big shows opening for Christina Aguilera in Calgary for the Corn Pops Rocks 2000 concert, which also featured Canadian pop acts like Soul Decision, McMaster and James, and the Moffats. I love that show was sponsored by Corn Pop cereal. It is the most year 2000 thing I have ever heard. B4-4 even scored some dates on the Western Canadian leg of MTV's Total Request Live tour, opening up for Destiny's Child along with Sugar Jones. And let us not forget the YTV Psycho Blast tour with Snow, Wave, and Soul Decision. I am just having some major Canadian pop flashbacks right now. Perhaps the coolest gig they got, though, was performing in front of a crowd of thousands at the Pacific Coliseum in Vancouver for the final concert scene in the 2001 film Josie and the Pussycats. So if you know the movie, all of the concert footage was actually taken from the free show B4-4 put on. So using movie magic, they just made it look like Josie and the Pussycats were performing their song Spin Around, when in fact, all of the teenage girls were just crying over B4-4's Get Down. To add to these milestones, B4-4 were also recognized at the 2001 Juno Awards, receiving a nomination for Best New Group. However, they did lose, but it was to Nickelback. Looking back, B4-4 had a big year throughout 2000 and 2001, but as we know in this cruel, cruel industry, it wasn't meant to last. Despite selling 200,000 copies of their debut album, B4-4 were dropped by Columbia, aka Sony Music. Boy bands were kind of on their way out come 2003, so it did make sense, but the guys weren't going to let that stop them. They signed a deal with Polydor Records in Germany, and in an interesting twist to freshen up the brand, they changed the spelling of their name, getting rid of the cutesy letter-number combination for the proper spelling of B-E-F-O-R-E-F-O-U-R. Things seemingly looked up for the group. They signed on with Lou Pearlman, one-time manager for Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, and Britney Spears, who told them, "Little girls are never going to stop loving these guys." Like, ew. Did these people not think before they speak? I can't. Here they are talking about working with Lou Pearlman with Much Music.
So I have to bring up Lou Pearlman, who you're working with. How did you hook up with him? How did he find B4-4 in Toronto? You weren't in Orlando, were you?
Oh yeah, we flew down to Orlando.
Did you?
Just like we walked into Sony.
Sued again right now for this comment.
You guys keep talking about being sued and suing in lawsuits.
We got to be careful what we say because, I don't know, everyone's always after us. So what can we do, Nothing we can do.
Excuse my language, but we went through a lot of shit for the past 2 years, so.
And is it all sorted out now?
I don't know.
Paperwork stuff with labels, or?
No, everything's cool and we're on good terms. But, there's always obstacles you have to cross, and that's how we look at it. And we're just doing what we love to do. And
it's never perfect. It can be.
You didn't answer the question.
Lou, how did you meet Lou?
We actually flew down to Orlando to meet him. We actually called his secretary.
Okay, so kind of like how you were discovered. You went to Sony Music Canada. That worked for you, so you found Lou.
We called for 2 months straight. We called his secretary, and she's like, "I can't let you guys in, blah, 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 blah. And you got to call, and you got to keep calling. And just no one let us through to him, so we just flew down there and met him, and he was really interested, and that's how it started.
Well, they did manage to release their second album, In Your Face, in 2003, although only in Germany. And they did get to open up for Britney Spears at her Toronto show as part of the Onyx Hotel tour, but not long after that, Lou Pearlman was caught fronting what would be called the longest-running Ponzi scheme in American history, defrauding investors out of more than $1 billion. So he was sentenced to 25 years in prison on charges of conspiracy and money laundering, among other things. And that was kind of that. B4-4 came to an end soon after in 2004. 4 years later, Ryan Kowarski would reflect on his time in B4-4 to the Regina Leader Post, admitting, "It was quite frustrating to us in the B4-4 days. We were playing to a lot younger audiences, and the focus would be on our hair and our clothes. We had come from a very musical family. My father is an opera singer, and my older brother is an opera singer. So we grew up very focused on vocals and orchestration. We weren't happy doing pop music for young kids." So Ryan and Dan pivoted to music that young kids would definitely not want to hear. They formed a duo called Ryan Dan, their names as one word, and sang opera-styled vocal pop music. Their first album was actually a big hit, going gold in Canada. I'm certain your grandmother, maybe even your mom, owns a copy. The twin brothers put out another a few years later, performed with Shania Twain for her Still the One show at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, and then called it a day on their singing career around 2014. Ryan and Dan still work together, though, to this day. You love to see it. They own and operate a doggy daycare and spa called Camp Cookstown in Essa, Ontario. I feel like they need to interpolate Get Down into an ad for their business, don't you think? If you book at Cookstown, your dog will thank you. I mean, that works, right? Should they do this? If they don't want to do it, Ohad actually could. He is currently the CEO of a company called Circa Homes, who build prefabricated sheds, ADUs, and custom homes in the Beverly Hills area. Actually, according to his Instagram, he knows Brad Pitt. Remarkably, Get Down is still popping up in various corners of the internet. TikTok and YouTube videos of people reacting to the music video are the most common type of content. And let me tell you, Gen Z were not prepared for it. I mean, I wasn't prepared for it, and I was there when it was a hit. As I already mentioned, the best one, however, though, belongs to Justin Hawkins and his Justin Hawkins Rides Again podcast. So let me end with a clip from his episode he called "Was Music from the 2000s Really This Bad?", where he simply tries to explain Get Down.
I don't know what to do about this. What am I supposed to say?
I'm Ruby Carr. Thanks for listening to Encore. We've got more CanConCore coming your way, some ones that I am very excited about, so looking forward to sharing that with you. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a moment.
Encore is an iHeartRadio Canada podcast. Download the free iHeartRadio app and subscribe.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.